Crimson Tide Rewind, live from Baumhower's Victory Grille in Vestavia Hills. Welcome, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. It's a pleasure to be joined by, of course, our producer and engineer, Todd Robbins. Former Crimson Tide quarterback and our color analyst on the network, Tyler Watts. We've got the regular crowd right in front making a lot of noise as well. Make more. And also, hello to all of our friends from Spokane, Washington that have made the trip here to Alabama, and they will be in attendance cheering on the Crimson Tide against Tennessee coming up on Saturday. Roll Tide. We're glad you're all here. Tyler Watts, great to see you.
Crimson at our game, huh?
Let's go.
Just like college game day. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got some great fans here, decked out in Crimson of Alabama. We love to see it, and we look forward to talking about what's coming up on Saturday, the third Saturday in October, Alabama against Tennessee. But, Tyler, we got to start rewinding this win, 27-24 against Mizzou.
Yeah, kind of the one that we were all most concerned about. No one really anticipated that we would have a down game versus Vanderbilt when they came to Tuscaloosa 2 weeks ago. But how would you rebound? How would you respond, especially with the early kickoff? What a great atmosphere. You know, they're doing a lot of construction up there, so the stands weren't necessarily packed right at kickoff, but it became a hostile environment throughout the course of the game as Missouri just would not go away. And I think that was more credit to what they were doing than us. But, hey, man, we responded. We responded to them driving right down the field on the opening kickoff and putting 7 points on the board. We, once again, go on that methodical 7-8 minute drive, respond, and kind of took control of the game at that standpoint, especially on a defensive stand from their side of things. I mean, just you cannot be happy enough with just the progress that defensive unit has made from the opening game versus Florida State down in Tallahassee. They just continue to improve and continue to improve throughout the course of the game as well, making adjustments, recognizing what the opposing offense is trying to do, and having an answer for it. And I think that's ultimately the biggest thing. Forced a couple of potential turnovers and then still were able to take the ball away twice, especially late on in that game. That sealed the deal. So that was a great defensive performance, especially once the offense was struggling a little bit there in the third quarter.
And for the Crimson Tide offensively, once again, fine performance by Crimson Tide quarterback Ty Simpson, 23 of 31 passing, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and once again, he is the SEC Offensive Player of the Week.
And you got to like most about how did he play in pressure situations, the must-have plays, especially late there in the fourth quarter. Going forward on 4th and 8, 4th and 1 or 2 from the goal line, he's able to read the defense, put the ball exactly where it needed to be. Could have thrown a better ball. I mean, you just could not have thrown a better ball. And quite honestly, had it not been the perfect ball, it gets batted away or incomplete, and Missouri has taken over close to midfield. So huge confidence and just being in the moment, playing the play, not worried about what was going on around him, the external factors, and just performing. And that's what your leaders do in big-time situations. They want the ball in their hand, and they're the ones that are going to make a play.
And how about just overall this team dealing with in-game adversity where it really hurt last year's team? It hurt against Florida State even to begin this season, but we've seen adversity plenty against these SEC opponents, Georgia, Vanderbilt, and now Missouri, and this team keeps punching back.
They just keep responding to whatever is thrown at them. You do want to see them kind of turn the corner of, hey, let's put these guys away, because we're up 17-7. We have ball in hand. We're driving the field, and we have to punt, or we walk away without points. Those are the situations you kind of want to see continue to improve on. There's always room for improvement. But, yes, I mean, when Missouri ties it up on the first play of the second half, we get a fumble. They drive it in. They tie the ball game up. And all of a sudden, once again, you're behind now. It doesn't matter how you've dominated the flow of the game to this point. It's a tie ball game, and you got to go out there and execute, and you just got to stay aggressive, and they were able to do that.
We saw the Crimson Tide pick up their third SEC win, now 5 wins in a row for Alabama. We'll try and keep it going coming up on Saturday against Tennessee. We'll talk plenty about that. More on this win for Alabama against Missouri as we're just getting going. The first of our hour coverage tonight here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, rewinding Alabama's win 27-24 over Missouri. This is Crimson Tide Rewind, and this is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Game day is about big plays and big energy, but it's also about the little things. It's about the energy of a community coming together to cheer for our heroes on the field, the tireless work that goes into every game from the front gate to the 50-yard line, and making memories that last a lifetime. Alabama Power knows that dedication makes all the difference. That's why we're here to keep you moving with reliable power and the programs that help you save. Now that's big. Alabama Power, proud sponsor of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Simpson getting the shotgun snap, looking, firing, slant, Riley, catch made, touchdown Alabama. Kevin Riley came from the backfield, got to about the 2, cut it across the middle. The ball was right there, and he fought his way into the end zone for the Alabama touchdown.
Crimson Tide touchdown to Kevin Riley, starting the scoring for Alabama on Saturday against Mizzou. Make sure you keep up with everything Alabama with the Alabama Crimson Tide mobile app presented by Cadence Bank. It's available at the App Store and Google Play. Download the Alabama Crimson Tide mobile app now for free. So again, the Crimson Tide pick up this win 27-24 against Missouri this past Saturday, as we saw Kevin Riley involved for the Crimson Tide in this ball game. Top rusher was Jam Miller, 20 carries for 85 yards in this ball game. Unfortunately, left with injury. We heard today from Coach DeBoer at his press conference in the concussion protocol, and we'll just see how the next few days go.
That's all you can do is just wait and see how he responds, how he reacts. You never know exactly how severe that's going to be, but boy, he took a shot on the sideline, and he has really been the guy toting the rock over the last several weeks since he returned versus Georgia, and he's been the go-to guy. And I think you definitely see a little bit of a drop-off when he's not on the field. And he can't carry it every time, but it's nice to have some of the other guys stepping in. You mentioned Kevin Riley, and then later in that ball game, we also had Daniel Hill that kind of filled in to give a little bit of relief. Also, a big body back. You'd like to see him run behind his pads a little bit more, be a little bit more of a bruiser between the tackles, and use that big frame to run over folks. But it's a running attack that didn't have quite the success as they did the week before versus Vanderbilt, but they stayed to it, and when they needed to get tough yardage, they were able to get just enough to put them in manageable situations on third downs.
What did you see from Alabama's offensive line in this game?
I thought they did a decent job. There was a couple of passing situations where obviously we were getting beat on the edges. I'm not sure if it was a noise issue, but we're going to play in much noisier, louder environments than what we experienced last Saturday. So you got to keep working with that. You can't afford to get beat off the ball on the edge. It's just there's not a lot of that, and there was nowhere for Ty Simpson really to step up into it. I thought a couple of times, though, he could have helped him out by moving around in the pocket a little bit more. But, overall, you did some nice things, especially early in the half. You want to see those big offensive linemen, though, take control of the game in the fourth quarter and just be able to run the ball down the throats of your opponent, especially when you've possessed it as much as Alabama did. I think we would say 38 minutes overall.
38-33 compared to 21-27. Again, really the reverse of what Missouri's been doing to opponents all season long. They had been tops in the nation.
The reverse of what everyone has been accustomed to. This is a ball control offense. And it's funny, though, that they're doing it by passing so much. They're able to overcome some third and long situations because of how talented they are in the wide receiver room and the protection they've been able to get Ty Simpson, who has been understanding what defenses have done. But you have to continue to work on that because it's something you're going to need to really rely on to put games away when you can't afford to have incomplete passes. You're forced to run the football, and you have to stay ahead of the chains when you are forced and when the defense knows it's coming.
And Missouri has 4 sacks in this ball game, and overall, this is a pretty good defensive unit. Some future NFL guys on that D-line.
That's the thing is they were bringing pressure from a lot of different places, and for the most part, we did a pretty good job of picking some things up. Jam Miller didn't have a particular great day in pass pro. I know he got a little confused and got beat a couple of times, and that was pressure right up the gut against a linebacker. But as far as the offensive lineman, I think the left side is playing very well. You know what you're going to get in Parker Brailsford right up the middle, and then whoever it is, Jaden Roberts played a lot of snaps in this game. Gina Vandermark at the right guard, and Wilkin Formby continuing to improve. And Michael Carroll, he's the up-and-comer who has a ton of talent, who they're finding ways to get him on the field.
Yeah, Ryan Grubb said he's getting closer and closer to being an every-down player for the Crimson Tide. That was from the press conference earlier today. That's a good sign for his development as a freshman.
Well, and he's just one of those guys. I mean, he's talented. Obviously, he's getting after it. He's picking up, and he's just – it's not easy to learn the playbook and everything in a short period of time. You can do all the walkthroughs you want to, all the film study. You still have to have game reps, just learning the pace of play and how fast things are happening and how quickly you have to be able to react to it. So he is continuing to improve, but hey, you're halfway through the season now. You're not a true freshman anymore.
6 games in, Alabama's 5-1 and off to a 3-0 start in SEC play. We'll continue talking about the Crimson Tide's victory against Missouri, plus what's coming up on the 3rd Saturday in October. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
As the snap goes to Simpson, looking, firing, slant, caught, touchdown Alabama. Isaiah Horton in the back of the end zone with the tightest of windows to catch it through. What a pass again from Ty Simpson, and Bama takes the lead 13-7.
Second touchdown of the game for the Tide at Missouri on Saturday. You know what, Tide fans? J&J Apparel is your trusted source for Bama gear. New Alabama hats, t-shirts, and polos are arriving daily. Visit online at jnjapparel.net or shop their retail store at 1926 University Boulevard in downtown Tuscaloosa. RTR with J&J. Isaiah Horton, I believe, top receiver in the Vanderbilt game, and just continues to be steady for this Crimson Tide team. 3 catches, 34 yards, and that touchdown. And again, there weren't a lot of explosive plays by Alabama in this ballgame. Really nothing over 30 yards, but consistent play all throughout this game from this passing attack.
Well, you continue to work the chains, and we are used to seeing some of those over-the-top throws that really weren't there. And I think a lot of that had to do with Missouri's defense, and Ryan Williams didn't play a lot. I think he was really limited in the number of snaps that he even took. I don't believe he had any targets. But, boy, you getting back to Isaiah Horton, down inside the 10-yard line with that big frame, he is such a weapon on those deep slant routes. And you got to tip your head. Jeremy Bernard and Josh Cuevas are the ones that set up his ability to catch that ball with their route running. They took away the safety in the corner on their respective routes, which opened up a one-on-one situation in a small window for Ty Simpson to be able to drill that ball in. But the ball's where it needs to be on time. Isaiah Horton is where he's supposed to be and is able to get his head around and secure that ball. So huge weapon inside the red zone with that big, tall frame. But then you always wonder, well, then what happened? Why did he go away? Because I don't really remember him having a lot of targets or catches in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So it's funny how it kind of shifts and moves around from this guy being hot to that one. And maybe it's the defense saying, all right, we're taking this away now. I don't know. But I can't wait to see all these guys getting 2 or 3 receptions every quarter, how explosive this offense can be.
And overall for the ball game, 9 receivers caught passes, really 8 if you take away Parker Brailsford, who caught 1 on a deflection to the Crimson Tide center. Who knows? We may have some special plays for Parker Brailsford in the future, like Caden Proctor. As a quarterback, do you like having those many options? Do you like the number kind of going down, the rotation going down as the season goes along? What's your comfort level dispersing the football to that many guys?
All this shows is that there's trust with the coaches, the receivers, and the quarterback room. Coaches know they can put people out there, and there's a good enough chemistry between the quarterback and the receivers of knowing where they're going to be, when they're supposed to be there, that he feels comfortable throwing to that many different people. I think it's a tip to the hat to the wide receivers. They're doing their job. They're not running the wrong routes. They're not being in the wrong place, which loses trust with your quarterback and also with your coaches. You're not going to be out there on the field. So it's a good thing, because you never know who's going to get banged up. You never know where the focus of that defense is. And to be able to spread the ball around like that, you're always going to be able to find a matchup that favors you.
Ty Simpson doing a nice job of that so far for the Crimson Tide. Again, we're talking about the Alabama win against Missouri, looking ahead to this Saturday against Tennessee as well. And if you're coming to Tuscaloosa for the ball game, make sure you join us at Vector Security Champions Lane. It is the best pregame fan fest in the country. Our live radio broadcast will get things started 3 hours before kickoff, followed by a free pregame concert featuring country music star Chase Matthew. We'll also have the largest outdoor LED screens in Tuscaloosa, meet and greets with the Alabama men's basketball team, food trucks, and of course ice-cold beer starting at noon. And Legends Lounge, it's a long time until kickoff. 6:30 kickoff. Everything will get going on stage with us at 3:30, but Legends Lounge opening at noon. There is never a cover charge in there. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you visit championslane.com each week for more details. More on the Crimson Tide when we return. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Running back to the right of Pribula. That's the backup, Roberts. Looking, firing. It is almost picked off, or did he get it? Bama says they have it, and they do. Bray Hubbard diving around the 40-yard line, gets the Chick-fil-A interception. interception, and Bama will take over.
Swarm D getting that interception for Alabama. Chris Stewart on the call of the Bray Hubbard interception as Alabama picks up the win by 3 points on the road against Missouri. If you'd like to join us on the show tonight, you can submit your question to us on the Alabama Media Group Twitter line at UA_CTSN, brought to you by AL.com, Alabama's largest news site with daily coverage of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Before we go to the phones, great to see that again for Bray Hubbard, now his team-leading third interception.
Just all over the place. I mean, he was so instrumental against Georgia, up around the line of scrimmage, and then to see kind of what he was able to do, he's really brought that intensity. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. was in the ballgame a couple of times. He's a headhunter. He gets after it as well, downhill safety. So you love to see Bray Hubbard and the energy that he brings, always around the football. And those two interceptions that Prabula threw were just egregious. They were awful throws. But Alabama was in the right place. Obviously, they confused him a little bit, and they took an errant throw and were able to capitalize on it. Huge moment for the Crimson Tide in that game. All right, we invite your questions on Twitter and X. We also invite your questions as well on the phones. 877-202. Bama is the number to dial. And right now, let's go back to Hawaii, where Laverne calls us. Roll Tide, Laverne.
I'm on. Hello, this is Laverne in Hawaii.
Roll
How's
Tide.
Tyler and Roger?
We're really good, but I can't lie. I wish I was in Hawaii with you guys having a great time.
I'm looking at some big volcanic crater right now, but I just had to take time out of my day to make my phone call to y'all to let y'all know that I am so glad that Coach DeBoer listened to me last Monday, and he put Kalen Proctor behind the center, just like I asked him to. That was fabulous. He did a great Wildcat. Now, my next question is he going to put him, like, downfield to be able to catch and run back a punt or a kickoff or something? What y'all think?
Let's leave Cole Adams back there, please. Cole Adams is the man. He's sure-handed, and he's able to get yards after the catch. That's who I want on my hands team, too, because if you notice, right there at the tail end of the game, when they were going to onside kick it, we had nothing but tight ends over there. We call timeout. Now we got to have number 7. Cole Adams is our guy. But you love how Caden Proctor continues to be a part of it. He is a load. It was an athletic play that he made also. The play was intended to go up the middle. He had to bounce it to the outside, jumped over an arm tackle, and dang near got in the end zone.
Well, and did you see the pictures of that play?
No.
There was a face mask by Missouri.
Was there a face mask?
There was a face mask. If not for that, he would have scored.
Well.
And it wasn't called.
You know how the referees are. They're always out for everybody.
That's what a few friends elsewhere in the state have been saying to me.
Heck of a play, though. Yeah, and I would have loved to have seen us going back because, unfortunately, the very next play, Ty Simpson loses his balance, gets stepped on, and we lose 4 yards. And that was an important possession to be able to punch that in and get 7. And we had to walk away with just 3. So there's another point of emphasis inside the 10-yard line of continuing to be able to press it and be able to pick up touchdowns and not have to settle for field goals is important moving forward.
We certainly thank Laverne for the call. We miss her at Baumhower's, but hope she enjoys everything along with our great friends on that trip out to Hawaii. Speaking of Baumhower's Victory Grill, it is your big game headquarters this fall for the 2025 football season. Baumhower's has been voted best wings in Alabama and the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. They're featuring their fan favorites this fall that include the Ragin' Cajun Gooey Fries, Go Fish, the Gooey Char-Grilled Chicken Sandwich, and their scratch-made Cabo Wabo Tequila Margaritas. All of you football fans, kick off your season in legendary fashion and make Baumhower's Victory Grill your big game headquarters all season long. I think Tyler Watts is going to enjoy this burger coming up here in a few minutes, along with your sweet potato fries. He's not even going to comment because he's enjoying it that much. We'll continue with more of the show in a moment. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
4th down and 8, and Bama's going for it, or at least gives that indication. Simpson comes up to Brailsford. 3, 2, 1. Get the snap off in time. Simpson stepping up, looking, firing. It is caught. Lonzier Brooks at the 12-yard line, knocked out of bounds. It will be 1st down, Alabama.
Chris Stewart on the call of that critical fourth down conversion for Alabama on the final scoring drive of the game for the Crimson Tide. If you'd like to join us on the show, submit your question to us on the Alabama Media Group Twitter line at UA_CTSN. Brought to you by AL.com, Alabama's largest news site with daily coverage of the Crimson Tide. Tyler, that highlight we just heard, I thought that was the key play of the game.
It was because there was, 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes to go in the ball game. You're able to convert that, go down, you score a touchdown, you burn off a couple more minutes. They have 2 minutes or so, minute 58 when they finally got the ball back, down 10. You're thinking, all right, this is it. We're gonna get them. But man, yeah, going back to that fourth down, and that's just week after week after week, down in distance. Coach DeBoer trusts these guys to go out there and make a play. And it's kind of like Dan Campbell and Detroit Lions. They just keep making it and continuing drives as a result of it.
Really do. And there was even a negative play leading up to that on, first or second down. Alabama has a great third down play to even set up a more manageable fourth down.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly what they did, who they threw it to in order to get it down to just 8 yards or so. But just chiseling away. They took a sack on first down, put them behind the chains. I think it was second down and 20 or so, first and 20. And then to be able to get it down there to be able to potentially convert and keep the chains moving once again. And hey, that's a big part of it, and it's frustrating as the opposing quarterback and ready to go, ready to get back out there on the field, and they just won't stop moving the ball. They just won't stop converting.
A few questions from that Alabama Media Group Twitter line, again brought to you by AL.com. The series of 3 questions here will start with, where was Ryan Williams on Saturday? You mentioned a little bit out there for some plays, but was not targeted.
Yeah, banged up a little bit, so he just didn't play. But I think number 17, Lasir Brooks, is kind of moving into that role of a dude that you can trust down in and down out. And then Isaiah Horton and obviously Jeremy Bernard are the other ones that kind of round that out. So not having Ryan Williams out there 100%, you'd like to have him, but if he's not available, you still feel really good about your guys behind him. When Derek Meadows, he was only in for 2 plays before he got knocked out of the ball game as well, but he's kind of emerging into that. There's another 6'5" receiver that has a lot of upside in his development and growth.
And then also speaking about some injuries, if Jam Miller does not return against Tennessee, will we see Daniel Hill maybe at running back 1?
Don't know. No, I think that Kevin Riley is still your guy back there. He's explosive. You trust him. He's got a lot of reps under his belt, and there's a reason that he has been getting the number 2 reps behind Jam Miller, is because he's the one you're most confident in his ability. And he's not as big, but he's able to make some things happen as well, picking up positive yardage. So you're going to see a combination of both of them, and whoever has a hot hand probably going to get more carries. But really puts an emphasis. You have to stay balanced against Tennessee. You can't just rear back and throw it. They got a good defensive front that can put pressure on you. So you have to keep them off balance as well. So it's going to be important for whoever is in the backfield to not only do a good job running the football, you've got to be able to protect. So from that standpoint, yeah, you probably will see more Daniel Hill on obvious throw-in situations.
Then the final question, thoughts on Keon Keeley's presence on our defense against Missouri?
Love him in the pass rush. I mean, he is such a disruptor when he knows the pass is coming. He's able just to focus in on using his speed and athleticism to be able to create some bad situations for the opposing offensive line. He got a sack on the day and was drawing a lot of double teams on some of the other obvious throw-in situations.
Again, we thank all the questions. Again, submit those to us at UA_CTSN. We'll get to those coming up for the final 25 minutes of the show in a moment. You're listening to Crimson Tide Rewind live from Baumhower's Victory Grille in Vestavia Hills. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Empty set, Simpson gets the ball, dumps it off, Hill, caught, touchdown Alabama. Daniel Hill, the sophomore from Meridian. What a time to get his first touchdown of the season. What a call from the Alabama coaching staff. And a great throw from Ty Simpson as well. And Bama goes up 9.
Not only a touchdown, a fourth down conversion again. Ty Simpson 3 for 3 passing the ball in fourth down situations and just playing poised when it matters most.
Yeah, and let's go back to the third down where he swings it out to Danny Lewis Jr., who fights and picks up an extra 4 or 5 yards after contact to get the ball down to the 2-yard line so that you even have a choice to make. You fall short, you're outside the 5, you're having to settle for a field goal, and then completely different game, only being up 6. in that situation as opposed to 10.
Crimson Tide eventually get the win. 27-24 is the final score, and we always like to take a look around the SEC, see what happened. A lot of different results this past week. We'll only focus on a few of them. First of all, Texas back. We saw Arch Manning have a good performance against Oklahoma, handing the Sooners their first loss in the Red River rivalry.
Well, I'm going to take aim back, but he threw 3 interceptions, and yeah, they look pretty good. It's impressive they were able to score 20 against that defense for Oklahoma, but man, I would have thought that would have been a much more competitive game.
Absolutely, and maybe John Mateer rushed back a little quick for the Sooners.
Maybe so.
It's tough to say. Other results, LSU was able to top South Carolina. We'll see the Gamecocks in a couple of weeks, but 20-10 was the final score in Baton Rouge. And then a lot of discussion about Georgia and Auburn. We saw the Tigers get up 10-0. We did not see them get up 17-0.
No, we did not, and it was a bang-bang play. Could have gone either way. I think most people thought he got in, but they ruled otherwise. But I hated how long that game took. I mean, it was exciting. I loved watching it, but way too many replays that slowed down the pace of the play. It was an electric atmosphere. You could just feel the energy there down in Auburn Saturday night. But, boy, I tell you what, that Auburn is such a different football team from the first half to the second half, especially when things kind of go wrong or they get a little bit of adversity. Because after that wasn't called a touchdown, they had like 2 or 3 personal fouls on that drive. And all they got to do is stop Georgia. They got them backed up to the 1-yard line. And when Georgia takes it right down and is able to kick a field goal.
And for Jackson Arnold in a spot like that, again, holding on to the football, number one, yes, you're taught to stretch the ball, break the plane no matter what. But, I mean, what should he be thinking about in spots like that? Just
driving in the end zone. You never want to extend the ball, honestly, because it will get punched away. You're trying to just use that big offensive line and the momentum. They had that tush-push thing you go in, and you're trying just to ride that in there. I can understand that because all you have to do is break the very front inch of that white line. But it's a dangerous play anytime that you extend the ball away from your body.
So Georgia is now 5-1 in the year, 3-1 in the SEC. That loss, of course, to Alabama, but now they've gone to Tennessee, they've gone to Auburn and picked up victories. Still interesting to see what happens for Georgia and this team.
And now they have Ole Miss coming to town.
Yeah, that's a massive game.
You know, and the same thing for Auburn and Missouri. You know, because Missouri has to get on the plane and travel down to Auburn this coming Saturday. So How do you respond to adversity? How do you respond to success? That's important on both sides, equally important.
And also Texas A&M picks up a win 34-17 against the Florida Gators. Florida now drops to 1-2 in the SEC, and the Aggies still undefeated. Didn't get to watch much of this game. Was really focused on Georgia against Auburn, but A&M continues playing at a high level.
Yeah, very explosive in what they're able to do offensively, and probably one of the better defenses in the conference.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about Tennessee and Arkansas, because the Vols are the next opponent for the Crimson Tide coming up this Saturday, the third Saturday in October. We'll have more on that coming up next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
2 wideouts left. Now make it 3 for Missouri. Krivula firing left side. Seam picked off, intercepted, and getting the pick for Alabama will be Deshaun Lee. It was perhaps deflected, but intercepted by Deshaun Lee. A great pick there.
Get used to hearing the name Deshaun Lee. Great game-ending interception for the Crimson Tide. He is making an impact as a freshman, and Tyler, he gets the game-ending interception against Mizzou.
And almost had another one on the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball hit him right in the hands. He didn't have to jump, but he jumped and was unable to secure it as he came down to the ground. Well, so potentially could have had 2 on the day, but another freshman continues to get better. He's a bigger body, comes up and runs support nice. He's physical with the receivers. So just a good job of being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. So the Crimson Tide get the win against Missouri. Mentioning some SEC scores from over the weekend, Tennessee at home in Knoxville picks up a 34-31 win against Arkansas. Never really put the Razorbacks away in this ball game, but once again, Tennessee scores over 30 points. And right now, coming into this game, it's Tennessee leading the nation in scoring at 48.2 points per game.
Then this is a game, though. They're tied up at 17, I think, at halftime. They find a way to go on a scoring spree there in the second half, and they're up 34-17. I don't have a clue how Arkansas was able to get back into that ball game. They are talented at the wide receiver position, probably not as good at running as what they were a season ago, and it's just a matter of you catch that quarterback on a hot day or not. We saw what he did in the first quarter versus Georgia, where he went 11 for 11.
Yeah.
he was just on fire, and then he cooled off. So his performance and how he plays, and more importantly, how Alabama is able to disrupt him and confuse him, is going to be extremely important next Saturday.
Yeah, what makes Josh Heupel's offense really unique to defend against?
I think it's very friendly to your offensive guys as far as cleaning up the picture of what you're trying to ask people to make decisions on doing. So it causes a lot of issues defensively when you're trying to take away things, because they have kind of an answer for everything on every play.
And then what's the challenge of the tempo a team like Tennessee will play with?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're wanting to rotate people in, and they will not allow you to do that. Very similar, Alabama didn't allow Missouri to substitute in the third and fourth quarters when we started getting things going on a roll. So that's the name of the game now, though. Everyone adjusts to it, and you just have to make sure that you have personnel that are multiple in what they're able to do out there on the field so that you can defend both the run and the pass, that you're light enough and fast enough to be able to do both.
So it's the Crimson Tide and Tennessee coming up this week. 6:30 will be the start time for the third Saturday in October. Our radio coverage will start at 3:30 all across the network. And, of course, we are here on the show with the hero of the 2002 Alabama win against Tennessee in Knoxville. Broke the streak. There's a Daniel Moore print of it. And, of course, we're talking about Tyler Watts. So one of your finest moments in Crimson. Take us back to 2002 and that win up in Tennessee.
Wasn't my finest moment, man. Come on, dude.
It was one of them.
That was a great moment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. We had been 7 years without beating Tennessee, and that was a huge deal. This game traditionally has always been a game of streaks, right?
Yeah.
Our streaks have always been longer than theirs. But that was one where we were on the wrong side, and I just wanted to experience it one time. And I was a senior that year and had been playing with a broken foot for several weeks, and it hurt like crazy. I had to tape it up and everything. I had a special shoe. But, yeah, that was an electric atmosphere to be able to go in there. Smoke Dixon took a scoop and score for the first touchdown of the game. And that defense really dominated and just had fun that night.
I bet. It's a victory cigar at Neyland Stadium.
It was
pretty
awesome.
Special.
It was awesome. Did you smell it?
I did not. But a great moment for the Crimson Tide. Again, one you'll always come back to because, again, we've heard stories for years. People like Terry Jones around this program would always ask players, what was your record against Auburn? What was your record against Tennessee?
Yeah. And he was our strength and conditioning coach. Played with his son, Terry Jones Jr. And those are the two important games. I mean, and Tennessee feels the same way about us. I mean, what was your record versus Alabama? So, this is one that we're not going to have a difficult time getting excited for. I love the fact that it's a 6:30 kickoff. Fans are going to be engaged. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Just got to play well. And listen, this is a football team that has played extremely well in the first half. I want to see us do it for 4 quarters now. That's the next step. Let's sustain it. Let's make it last all 60 minutes.
Certainly will be good to see as, again, the Vols and the Crimson Tide are coming up this Saturday in Tuscaloosa. 6:30 will be the start time. When we come back, we'll get a few more keys to victory for Alabama against Tennessee on Saturday. Then after that, of course, South Carolina. And by the way, it was announced it will be a 2:30 p.m. Central kickoff in Columbia against South Carolina. So local time there, 3:30 Eastern, but it will be 2:30 kickoff for Alabama against South Carolina to round out the month of October before the open date and then the stretch run in November. But this Saturday, it's the third Saturday in October. More on that when we return. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. It's coming up on Saturday, third Saturday in October, Alabama against Tennessee. What's on tap next for Bama? Brought to you by Coors Light. Crimson Tide fans choose to chill with an ice-cold Coors Light. And again, next up is the rivalry matchup between the Crimson Tide and the Volunteers. We're kind of talking in the break. Of course, you helped win in 2002 up in Knoxville against Tennessee. What are some other games that stand out to you throughout the years in this rivalry?
Well, 07 does, because that was a textbook game. If you'll remember, we had a bunch of players get suspended. We found out right before the game, 4 starters, and that was Coach Saban's first year. And Tennessee had won 2 or 3 in a row once again. And it was, oh, man, what are we going to do? And Alabama dominated Eric Ainge and that Tennessee team that year. And then, obviously, when Lane Kiffin comes back in 09, we're national champion projections, hopefuls, and we get out of there by the skin of our teeth because of 2 blocked field goals that everyone remembers with Terrence Cody. So those are 2 of the more memorable ones because it was it was a skid for Tennessee after that. We were beating them by 30 every year.
Well, and it was memorable. It was kind of an ugly game for so much of that 09 game. I mean, defensive struggle, just nobody could execute. And there was all the deal with the headsets that day as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Lane Kiffin cheating right out the
just
gate.
Pulling out all the
my
tricks.
earphones don't work. He's probably over there with walkie-talkie or something. Monty Kiffin, his dad, was helping him with the defense, I believe. And they had some good players on that defensive unit, though. And we would move the ball, but we were so run-oriented back then. And, it was one off week that season, and that was the last game before our off week. And we had played like 7 or 8 games, I believe. And you could just tell the guys were, man, their tank was gassed. I mean, they were tired.
Yeah,
but they got the win.
Got the win. The last time Tennessee won in Tuscaloosa, you have to go all the way back to 2003. A great streak at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium, now Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Started in 2005, and probably the hardest hit Roman Harper ever had on a football. He certainly hit Corey Anderson. The ball came loose, came to the back of the end zone. Jamie Christensen won it.
That was a fun game as well, because they were driving and we weren't stopping them. Had Roman Harper not gone and punched that ball out, and we ended up getting it. And one of the ugliest field goals ever kicked, but it went through the uprights. So that's all that matters.
Jamie Christensen, great game winner for the Crimson Tide, part of that 05 season. But now here we are 20 years later. It's Alabama against Tennessee. What does Ty Simpson and company have to do to keep it rolling against the Vols?
Well, you got to come out of the gates hot like you have been over the previous couple of weeks. Just play ball control, limit the number of possessions that Tennessee has. I think that frustrates them, especially with a rhythm style of offense that Josh Heupel likes to run. I mean, the more you're out there on the field, the more you're able to stay in that rhythm. Obviously, it's a nice compliment to our defensive unit, but it's going to be a tough game. And one thing we have learned is we haven't learned how to put teams away yet, and so we have to learn how to do that when we get up on them. Maybe it starts this week, but if not, you're in for a 4-quarter game once again.
And the Vols have been in plenty of those over the last few weeks. Against Georgia, of course, lost, had a chance to win that game at the end of regulation. A missed field goal by Max Gilbert, lose in overtime. Then they really struggled to also put away Mississippi State on the road.
They were just trying to get that ball game to overtime, and then they're able to find a way to win it. So, yeah, they've been in some tough competitions as well, and they would love nothing more to make this a true 4-quarter game or even into overtime. But look, we stack up good against them. This is one that I think if you're a player, it left a bad taste in your mouth last season. The defense played great, played good enough to get the job done, and offensively left too many opportunities on the field. So there'll be a lot of players that are focused in, ready to go this Saturday.
And the message from Kalen DeBoer earlier today is press conference, be loud. We want to see Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium as loud, as raucous as it can be. Being under the lights is certainly going to help. A long day to get ready for the ball game. Should be quite a show coming up.
I think it's going to be awesome, and especially if players come out energetic, ready to get after it, that's going to do nothing but feed the enthusiasm of the fans.
Well, we'll do our best to feed the enthusiasm coming up with our pregame coverage. Vector Security Champions Lane, that'll start at 3:30 again. Legends Lounge inside Champions Lane is going to open at noon, but we'll be on stage at the Bud Light backyard. Tyler Watts, Chris Stewart, Corey Reamer, and myself, we're going to have a really good time getting ready for that one. And Tyler, it's always a special game. Alabama against Tennessee. We look forward to seeing you there. Roll Tide.
Bring your cigars. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. Bring those cigars. Get ready for a great celebration, hopefully, coming up on Saturday for the Crimson Tide. So, again, that's what's on tap next for Bama. It's brought to you by Coors Light. Don't forget, Hey Coach, coming up tomorrow or on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Tuesday and Thursday, we'll have Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR streaming live at 2 o'clock. And then on the third Saturday in October, Alabama against Tennessee, our airtime 3:30. Kickoff just after 6:30 from Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. If you missed any portion of tonight's show, make sure you catch it on demand on our Alabama Insider podcast. You can download, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of Crimson Tide Rewind. It is live from Baumhower's Victory Grille each and every Monday night here in Vestavia Hills. I have to say thank you to Ross Campbell, Jerry Kelly back at our studios, our engineer here at Baumhower's, Todd Robbins, former Crimson Tide quarterback Tyler Watts, and I'm Roger Hoover. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on Saturday for Alabama and Tennessee. Roll Tide.